That's usually what I do. Okay. We are live. I think we're good. I think that's how this works.
I feel like it should. Yeah.
Okay. And then I think it just like automatically like records and then we just send the link, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Then if not, I'm sure Sister Rocky will understand, but like I'm sorry. We tried. We met. I promise. We just couldn't figure out how to record the link.
She puts up with me so much.
Same. She's kind of awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Are you ready for this?
So ready.
Okay. So currently 1 in 6 Americans are Hispanic. 1 in 4 children under the age of 18 are Hispanic, and since the majority of growth in the Hispanic population now comes from births and not immigration, this group is expected to grow on both sides in political power over the next several decades. In the 2012 election, approximately 75% of Hispanics voted for the Democratic Party. Do you think that the growing Hispanic population will shift power to the Democrats in the future generation? Why or why not? What did you think?
So I think it would, just because like if 1 in 4 children under the age of 18 are Hispanic, then that's already like that's a good percentage, and like just based off of the last election, like there was like I don't know, I thought it was pretty close. Just like watching like how like much it like went back and forth.
Yeah.
I think that like, the more like Hispanic children who are turning 18 by the next election, they're gonna have a lot more swing. And even if like they're like undecided, then their parents are actually gonna have a lot of like influence. And so I think that it's a pretty good like possibility that they're gonna start shifting over.
I could definitely see that. I wrote that I do think there's a possibility of the shift of power, but I don't think it's solely because of the Hispanic vote. It sits in their favor to have the majority Hispanic vote on their side, but I think it's more to do with the hot topic issues and the constant questioning of the current government. So there seems to be a constant scandal happening in the presidential and congressional offices, furthering national skepticism and distrust of politicians. So it can often lead to a party shift as the country looks for new leadership. And as more issues come up that divide the nation down party lines, it's easy to see that more moderates are moving closer to Democrats because of the furthering right shift with the Republican Party itself. So I think it has some influence, but I think it definitely depends on the other factors, and it's not the sole reason for the shift.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good point, because they're like just like based off of like our last presidents, it went from Democrat to Republican, Democrat, and then Republican. So yeah, depending on like how well like this like President Trump's like his first term goes, I think it's either gonna be he's gonna get reelected or they're gonna try and like vote him out immediately.
Yeah, and it'll definitely show the tension closer and closer to that election. Okay, are you ready for the next question?
Yeah, so Ronald Reagan once said that Latinos are Republicans, they just don't know it yet. Many political commentators note that since many Hispanics are highly religious, entrepreneurial, and value family, they are a natural fit with Republican ideals. From the characteristics you read about in this chapter, which political party do you think Hispanics fit in? Do you think this varies by nationality? Would Mexicans, Cubans, Puerto Ricans all identify with the same party?
So I said that I think it varies by nationality and by generation. Many of the nationalities have different concerns and different focuses in their goals. Cubans, many have fled from dictatorship and unfair regimes and are often wary of strong government, whereas Puerto Ricans often care more about economic opportunity than worrying about government control. And so those who are newly immigrated tend to rely on the government programs more and are often skeptical of Republicans who favor strong immigration control and are less lenient. So in the current time, it's easier to categorize Hispanics as Democrats, mainly because of how heavy the issue of immigration is currently. Many they love, know, and associate with are at a constant risk, and so they tend to side with Democrats who push for more immigration and more relaxed rules on those who are illegal in the country.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's really going to depend on like how well like they've already like integrated into our society, because I think they make like a really good point where they're saying like, yeah, a lot of like a lot of Hispanic ideals really like kind of match like the Republican, but it is going to depend on whether like on how much they've already like assimilated into our culture, because if they haven't, then yeah, they're going to go for more like the Democrat ideals just because like they kind of give them more freedoms, while those who have integrated are more going to be focused on like actually like working hard for themselves and like following their own ideals, which would kind of lead more towards Republican, in my opinion. So I think, yeah, I think it is going to depend a lot on nationality and then kind of how much like integrated into American society that they actually are, and whether or not they're here legally or they're here legally.
Yeah, I completely agree. So 3 is the major political issues that have shaped Hispanic voting patterns tend to be deportation and immigration. How do you think a growing Hispanic population will shape the policies in the future? So I put that it would largely depend on a presidential and congressional shift. Right now, there's a lot of debate on immigration, leaving our country often at a standstill or in heated arguments. So if there was a bigger push for deportation or tightening of immigration, it would lessen the effects of the Hispanic voters, but it would also cause a rise to more Hispanic populist movements. However, I feel that they do influence the nation. The more they vote and become active politically, the more the dominant group are exposed to their problems and plights. So they gain traction in their mobilization and their efforts to speak out about their issues. Also, as the population grows, they'll be able to put more and more Hispanic politicians into power, hopefully positively influencing the government concerning their particular areas of concern.
Yeah, and like honestly, I think it also is gonna like it's gonna go back to that whole like generational thing, because so my ex-husband, his parents are both from Mexico, and so we're like, I don't know how we got on this topic, but they were talking about it one day, and his dad was super adamant. Is that the word? He was very outspoken about like illegal immigration, because he and my ex-mother-in-law, they both came here, like they went through all the right channels, they like got their citizenship legally, they like never tried to work around the system. And so he is like really against like all those who are coming here illegally and then trying to like work through the system that way, instead of just like actually like taking the time to like get their citizenship, be approved and everything. And so he is super like outspoken about how wrong he thinks that is. But then you have other people who are like, oh, they're going to come over here, they're looking for a better future. And then so it depends on like, we have to be willing to, even though they come here illegally, we still have to be willing to let them stay and let them kind of take advantage that way. So again, I think it goes a lot back, goes again back to like the whole generational thing, and then just different like ideals in general, because both of my ex-in-laws were Republicans. They didn't I mean, they weren't fans of Trump, like they didn't really want him to win, but then they didn't like Hillary either. So it was kind of choosing like the less of two evils to them.
Yeah, which was most of the country, honestly. Like they didn't see like a really great candidate. They just were trying to choose who they preferred.
Yeah. Like I myself, I'm like a libertarian constitutionalist, so I wasn't really a big fan of either of them.
Yeah,
I was like so close to just like voting Green Party, but like on my, I was just like, if I don't vote for Trump, that's just one more. That's pretty much one more vote for Hillary. So that was my whole thing there. So I think for a lot of people, like depending on like the quality of candidates, it's not going to really reflect their own personal ideals. They're just going to be choosing like the less of two evils, in my opinion.
That's really, really true. Okay. So both political parties are trying to court young Hispanic voters for future success. Currently, Hispanic voter turnout is low because many older voters are undocumented, while many eligible voters are young and low income, traditional indicators of low voter turnout. If you were a party official, how would you try to increase voter turnout among Hispanic voters? So I said that I would utilize social media and make them aware of the party's stance on issues concerning them and focus on getting staffers who are visibly similar to them to do outreach. So people tend to be more comfortable with those who look and seem the same or similar to them, who can understand what they're going through, and grassroots movements can be very helpful in courting younger voters, and it's important to talk to them on a level that they can understand and focus on issues that directly matter to them, such as immigration and deportation and unemployment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually said the same thing about social media. It's because like with today's generation, like honestly, we're like, I don't know, I don't want to say the invisible generation, but the right word for it, I can't think of it. But I don't know, we're a generation who we don't really like pay too much attention as to what's going on around us unless it's something that's in social media.
Mm-hmm.
So if something was just strictly on the news, like on TV news or like in a newspaper, then our generation, we wouldn't really know about it that much, like because we always have our like nose to our phone, like looking through Facebook or Instagram or something like that. So definitely like utilizing social media is something that's going to like really influence voters. And then also getting like people like their own age, like I would be more willing to listen to someone like closer to my age than like some like super old person like trying to tell me things, because I already have like a short attention span. So if you like don't have a way to like keep my attention, then I'm probably not going to like listen to what you have to say. But if it's someone who like is from like even my generation or like just like a few years older, then that's something that I'm going to like want to like pay more attention to. And I think that's how a lot of people like our age are.
I completely agree. That's a really good point. Because it's way easier to trust and understand someone who you think understands what you're going through and your mindset, and who you feel isn't out of touch. And so that could be like a really big issue. Well, that's it. We did it.
We did it. Sister Rocky, we met for this week. I promise. Here's the proof.
We were there.
If it actually recorded, it says it's live. So I'm hoping that like that actually works, because it says it's live and normally like it records itself because it's like you're making a YouTube video, but it's only going to Sister Rocky. So fingers crossed.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
For sure. It was nice meeting you, and I will talk to you on discussion board posts.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Have a good week. Bye.